Right, this is going to be your latest episode of everyone's favourite, or pretend it's not their favourite, but secretly it is their favourite, esports talk show / people arguing with each other. That's actually one thing we do on this show that's underrated. Other shows all just play nice, don't they? They all just try to pretend they're mates or they're really professional and stuff. We actually do what you guys do on forums and Twitter, which is insult each other and then say mean shit about each other and straw man each other. All the classics, all the shit, you know. Like if you have nowhere else to go with kassad, you just make some reference to fucking Bleed or Renegades or something, you know. If Maui has got too good a point, you just point out that he works for Blast and receives money, you know. If it's me, well, I don't know.
that I have a job.
Yeah, I know, true. If it's me, I don't work events anymore. I'm old. You pick the bingo card. We all know how it works. It's all got that free space in the middle. I said Fallen was overrated that one time, even though then I got him on a show, and in more polite words, he basically explained that he was overrated as an all-brand in IGL, that he wasn't even that good at it all. But, you know, never mind. It's not like I know him. You know, you guys at home, you're big fans of him. I know him. I actually get along with him. You're just dreaming about the time you meet him and get along with him. That'll never happen for you. That's a fantasy for you. That's a rom-com for you. I'm living your rom-com life. In fact, that is a rom-com in esports, isn't it? Thorin, the bad boy, talking down on Brazil, said Fallen's overrated. Of course, Fallen could never be friends with him, but ooh, the allure. And that's the one person who he can't get the validation of. And suddenly, they bump into each other in a bar. Oh, hey. Oh, it's you. Well, I guess we're not at the event anymore. Maybe we have a drink. Wow, we have a lot more in common than we thought. Oh, you! I could never stop loving you. Anyway, you get the point. Yeah, that's a pretty good script like that. It was off the that was off the cuff, mate. It was pretty good. That was better than some of the ESL skits, mate. Although, by the way, I will say, my favourite. I've actually realised a way that I can stop hate watching ESL skits. My favourite ESL skits are the ones that they drop, and it is like a curse, bro. This is some cursed monkey paw. Anytime they drop one where a team makes fun of themselves, that day or the next day, that team will absolutely shit the bed. So if no one saw the recent one of Astralis, it's a really funny clip. It's where Magisk rejoins Astralis and he's sort of talking to Device. And he's sort of like, so what's going on here? Because, you know, we used to be the best ever. And the joke is Device sort of points out that they're all washed and the lineup's crap now. They've got Hooksy and, you know, they're not even that good a team and stuff. And the joke is they dropped that on the day when Astralis was getting their ass handed to them by, like, complete nobodies. And I just love the cursed element that, like, it's only supposed to work as a joke, that it's a tiny bit true, but not really, and that's why we're making fun of it. Because remember, they had one with Zimu that was like that right before you had some like dog shit game or something. It's like, it makes it unironically funnier if that happens. So I'm a fan of it. Anyway, you know what, gentlemen? Since we normally do start at such odds, I think we should bring the whole group together by starting with a fan take. And here's why. Are you ready? This is going to be a rare fan take that's not about esports specifically. It's not about a specific team or a player. Get ready. So if you want to submit a fan take, you can subscribe to Last Nation Discord. There's a little channel in there called CS Hot Takes. You put your take in there. If you don't want your name read out, just put it in there. We'll just read the take. Otherwise, we will read your name. In fact, kassad every time asks for the name of the person before insulting them. So that's how we do it on this show. So listen to this take, gentlemen. This is outrageous. So Alex, you know, imagine that, Maui, someone called Alex with an outrageously bullshit take about CS on this show. Could never imagine it. Anyway, Alex says, just buckle up for this one, boys. There is no good reason for friendly fire to be enabled at any level of the game, from matchmaking up to the pro scene. This doesn't apply to nade damage. We don't want players running through their team's mollies. But all friendly fire presents is an awkward mechanic that excessively punishes negligible errors. Removing it would be a quality of life change similar to adding the ability to sell items after a misbuy. Right, I just leave that to you boys. Who wants to take that on first?
That's so stupid.
It's amazing, isn't it?
That's just so stupid.
It's so good.
It's funny because I never think about friendly fire at all.
Who would?
I don't. Okay. The idea of a pro game not having friendly fire and how quickly it would get abused would probably blow this guy's mind. The space teams would just be flawless all the time if friendly fire was off, because the only thing that's really inhibiting a person from just spraying, like taking a wide angle, going for the fight, and then the guy not charging in front of him is he doesn't want to get shot in the back of the head. So this is just, it would in some ways it would make the game feel more T-sided actually, because you could just breach areas so much more effectively. You would just take space, and who cares if you're running in front of your teammates' bullets? And actually, I don't almost see any benefit for this. Like, I legitimately don't think I see a benefit. I don't know why this person thought that this was even a relevant take. What did he watch a game and see Monacy TK his teammate one time and said they shouldn't even have that? It's like, no, in fact, that makes it more exciting. I don't know why. Like, more interaction between all players in the server is always more exciting, period, for me.
These takes are being submitted through our Discord channel, yes?
Yeah.
And just through there, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, who is the guy in charge of Discord? I need his name first. Just
I think it's just an open forum. It's an asylum.
Just a suggestion box. We need to have some sort of a mental capacity test before entering into Discord server, right? Because
like
first of all, why
right.
stop there? Why just don't turn off the flashes as well? And everything else, just whatever, right? It's just a game for high competitive. Everybody, like, we are trying to make it watchable, right? So the thing is, like, not having friendly fire would destroy the game in about 3 days, a week, one event, one day. You know where I can see this happening? This is gonna take me to my take when it comes to it, to some sort of unranked matchmaking premier game, like similar to what you have in Dota 2, right?
Okay.
Where like different rules kind of apply, not the same thing.
Okay.
Like, and then you turn off, you get to pick and you turn off the friendly fire so noobs can run around and do whatever they want to do. I don't know if that's even good.
Okay.
But that's the only reason, and that's why I'm throwing a bone to this guy, simply because we share a name. So I'm not gonna, go nuts. But the thing is, like, outside of that, this take is probably one of the worst somebody ever submitted, because it makes literally zero sense for something like that to happen in any kind of normal, casual, or competitive environment. Maybe just in like non-ranked, unranked, no elo, whatever you want to call it, game where people can just run around. There's completely new people, that have no clue about the game at all, just run in and they don't understand the concept of friendly fire or whatever.
I've got a quick analogy I can give you that'll help you see where I'm going to go with this. There's a really weird law in the Old Testament, in the Bible, where in among all, the laws of how to govern society and how we should live and how you should worship God and how you should be, there's a law in there that says that if two men are having an argument and while they're arguing, one of their wives grabs one of their testicles, her hand must be cut off. And this comedian once made a point like, bro, that's way too specific. That's like some hater guy who'd had an argument was like, and if she grabs my ball, it must be cut off, like cut it off. What I'm making the point here is, this is way too specific a thing. Like Maui said, I've never sat around, I like to smoke fucking the devil's lettuce, mate, and have far out thoughts. I've never sat around and thought about this topic. And as like kassad pointed out, you haven't made really any good points. You just claimed it wouldn't be that bad. You haven't given us any good reason why. This just sounds like you suffer from shooting your teammates by accident, because you also popped in that it has to be on matchmaking too. By the way, matchmaking is probably the only angle you can even make the argument, because obviously you don't know your teammates and they might just fuck you over and shoot you for no reason on the last round or something. Maybe that's it, and even then I've done a better job than you did making the point. So it seems way too much like you're a noob. I even think on pro play, by the way, it's actually a very positive thing this exists. I'll tell you the most obvious reason why. There have been many cases, even top pros, like, have accidentally in the moment just shot their teammate when there's like two people going out or whatever. And I don't mean as in two people strafe at the same time. I mean they lose their mind for a second, see a person and just shoot. By the way, that's literally a real life principle that they train cops with in exercises. They run around an empty house and they have this exercise where a cardboard cutout comes out of like a robber, but then a cardboard cutout comes out of a little kid, because the whole point is they have to learn not just to instantly blow the head off anything that pops around the corner. So you learn not to shoot the little kid and then to shoot the other one. By the way, way, that's actually a good thing that you have to like recognize and not just like an animal just react like some fucking Pavlovian, whatever stimuli or whatever. So I think that's good. And also, I do think you don't know. See, you were so close with the Molly thing. You're so close to getting it. Please understand, I have played in the past on services that did have friendly fire turned off. It's worse than Maui suggests. You will then get scenarios. Like, I'll give you an example. Say we all rush out of short catwalk on Dust 2 on T-side, right? If I'm someone with like an AK or an AWP, I may as well just spam the fuck through my teammates at all the classic spots. I don't even need you to move out the way. I don't need the space creator to go forwards. You could even argue in certain scenarios in like man advantage, you should actually use one of your teammates, since he can't be hurt, as like VIP armor for your AWPer, so he can't be killed without tons of bullets going through your teammate to him, but you can shoot through your teammate and kill the AWPer. Like, what is that? That's mental. You've just created like a human buffer. Like at that point in time, those old Zimu lineups where it was just him fragging, they probably could win. Just have them four protecting him, like, get down, Mr. President. And then like they just circle his whole body and he moves around like a super VIP armor in God mode, killing everyone on the server. Like that's the most, because what you've forgotten, remember guys, is the bullet still goes through the teammate, I'm assuming, right? It just doesn't hurt them. So you've just made it open. So that's terrible. And like I say, you could just spray in an area to put down like suppressing fire and then have your teammate run through. It's the same concept as the molly. You were so close to getting why it's broken for mollies, but then somehow you don't see that again, because I think you're just the guy that fucking accidentally shoots your own teammate back in the day when you're looking down suicide on Dust 2 and your teammate pops out and you think it's the CT. You know, oh shit, and you've killed him. So then you're like, dear Valve, oh no wait, Valve doesn't write, dear hot take point made. They should remove all friendly fire. Only noobs is using it anyway. Love, Alex. I do appreciate though that you can't even flame him because he just put Alex. It's not like an alias, and it is technically because that's his name. So whatever. Well, I noticed he left that name out that time. He didn't go, listen, Alex, you know nothing about the game, because that clip could be used against him in the future. We could just replay that on like a soundboard against him, could we? By the way, I told you it was a bagger though. I knew this would unite the group. Like there was no way. Terrible. It is low key. It's not even about like CS Esports, but it's low key one of the worst takes I think I've ever heard of. Like, I don't know what this guy was cooking with when he thought that was a good one. But by the way, thanks for paying the money and submitting that so you can get your ass roasted. By the way, you just learned what friendly fire's like. It was really entertaining, wasn't it? You thought, hey, I'll help you guys, and we just turned our guns on you. It was fucking cool. You're like the bad Russian teammate at the end of a matchmaking game we're losing. We just killed you in the spawn because we can't all be kicked at this point, so fuck you, innit? So obviously on this show, we think we're right. Thanks to our sponsors, we get paid for being right. You can see if you can be right and cash in yourself with Prize Picks, where it pays to be right. So Prize Picks is super easy. It only takes like 60 seconds to lock in some picks. They've got all sorts of special features, by the way. Like they have a flex play thing where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And so you can also do one that if you want bigger payouts, you can do the power play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to get your takes, put your takes to the test, see who's right out of you and your friends. Also, they have like injury reboots. So if one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, they don't count that as a loss. That doesn't go against your lineup in that sense. It's also, you just pick 2 to 6 projected stats, whatever, do more or less, super easy, nothing complicated, no weird numbers, really easy to do. But we're going to show you some picks ourselves we're going to do some quasi-CS analysis logic, and we're going to try with American football, because obviously that's coming up like it is on all the weekends. We're right into the season now. So Maui, who are you liking at the moment? What pick are you going to take?
Just for if people are keeping track, I did just get the last pick correct on our other podcasts. I correctly predicted what Matthew Stafford did in that game versus the Niners. This time, I'm going with Josh Allen, who, for my money, top 3 QB in the league. He's been really, really great for the Bills. Currently, Prize Picks has him listed at 229.5 passing yards versus the Patriots, who are, to me, a mediocre passing defense. I think he's going to hit that. He actually hasn't always hit that every time this season, but to me, the Patriots just aren't that kind of defense that's going to be slowing him down all too much. This is where he's going to just be as unstoppable as he can be.
Okay, Kassad, where are you going on this?
Yeah, you had to brag, Maui, that you got the pick right.
I gotta let them know. I gotta let them know. You gotta brag about your wins as an analyst in general.
And that's what Prize Picks is all about.
Sure.
Exactly.
Can't let people forget. Yeah. Can't let them forget.
Okay. Listen, I'm just gonna take Cameron Ward. more than 0.5 passing touchdowns at Arizona on Sunday. I do think that, like, no matter how the game goes on, I think this is just a steal right here. I think it's just a gift wrapped, and I'm just going to take it.
Yes, I will say as well, I also did look it up. Even though in theory Arizona has a good defense, actually against passing is the weakest aspect of it. So you've even got a decent chance that you can do that. Yeah. I am going to take for mine, a bit of a left field one. I'm actually going to take Daniel Jones at more than 1.5 touchdowns. I know that's pretty crazy because people think he wasn't good in the Giants, etc. He looks way better now, and he's playing against the Raiders, who, by the way, spoiler, Richard Lewis is a Raiders fan. Everyone who's a Raiders fan has already given up on this season. They think it's over already. Like, this team is appalling defense. They're not good at all, unfortunately. So I actually think this guy is having sort of one of those bounce backs. I think he's going to go crazy on this one. So I'm going to take more for that one, more than 1.5 touchdowns. Okay. Who do you think is going to get there? What are your picks? What is your lineup? Well, download the Prize Pick app today and use the code, it's on screen, Hot Take, all one word, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Hot Take to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Right, gentlemen. Kassad hinted at it already. I know he tried there.
Right.
This is where you know he's got more restraint. He tried to just lead that straight into his take. He was like, I'm bored of talking about this now. Now my take. Like, go on then, Kassad. Hit us with it. You must have yours on deck. Come on.
Listen, I'm evolving. I'm evolving in this show. Like,
True.
The feedback is always, appreciated. The thing is, what I'm trying to say is, we mentioned the matchmakings and everything. Is that basically what I wanted? My hot take is that FACEIT shouldn't exist anymore.
Just flat out. Face it should not exist. Not even like the service should change. They should. It should
not exist.
If you could wave your wand tomorrow, face it's just gone off the face of the earth. Never existed.
It could happen. Like, it could happen if farm was like.
Go on then. Why should FACEIT, the most popular third-party gathered channel scenario? Yes. Why should that not exist, Kassad?
The thing is, like, it's doing way more damage than it does good things right now. Like, I don't know a single person, right? I have been playing FACEIT. I didn't get to see how many, before we started the show, I didn't get to see how many games I have played in the last 3 months. Okay. Over 150, 200 games.
Okay, fair enough.
A lot of games. And I can tell you that I have encountered so many cheaters, so many smurfers, so many racists, many...
Are you at a high level, by the way? Are you at a decent level on it?
I am around level 10, around 2K.
Right, that's pretty good. Yeah, okay.
I'm around 2K elo, like up and down, whatever. Like, I don't go below 9, I don't go over 2.2K, whatever. But I'm playing, on a regular basis, right? And I have encountered so much shit with this platform and the people who use it that is absolutely embarrassing for the company that asks their clientele, their kids that they're playing, to pay monthly. Obviously, you don't have to pay. You could just play without a premium or plus or whatever. But even when you play, the experience is so bad that you just feel like you are robbed. On top of that, the amount of cheaters going unpunished, the smurfers going unpunished, the tickets not answered,
is it against the rules to smurf? By the way, are you not allowed to have like a second account?
Oh yeah, no.
Oh right, okay.
Accounting is like bannable offense, right? You can deactivate and activate another one, and then put the same. Like, there is rules to it. But people are like boosting other accounts, getting paid for it. They're cheaters. They're getting paid. It's just a lot of nonsense. Most of that I'm trying to say is, like, this platform was made to help casual players play, enjoy the game on a daily basis, weekend, whatever, after work, like whatever, after school, doesn't fucking matter. On the other hand, it had FPL or FPLC, that the talents can grow, the talents can go to the professional teams like they did in the past, including people like Robs and so on, right? Not Flusha, but like other like Robs similar players, right? Even some players that I'm not really a big fan of, they made it through FACEIT, right?
Sure.
On top of that, that was the idea of the platform, right, at the beginning, and it was working fine. Right now, it's just like a hellhole filled with garbage, and it's literally unplayable. Right now, what needs to happen, this needs to shut down completely. We need Valve to take over and have a matchmaking system similar to what they have in Dota 2. Right? You know how I used to play Dota a lot before I started playing CS again. you just have matchmaking. You click on search. You can play solo, duo, triple, whatever, 5-man stack. You can do ranked, unranked, captain's mode, all pick, whatever, random draft. Doesn't fucking matter. Like something like that. And there is such a big base of players right now playing data that you can get the game in about a minute. Any time of the day, any fucking region. Maybe not North America, but any other region is like instantly a game for you. Unranked, ranked, whatever. Obviously, there is a matter of cheaters that Valve needs to solve, the matter of servers and all these things. But it would be much healthier for us right now to not have FACEIT than to have it. Because it's just terrible. And you would think that company that got sold for what, 500 or 750 million dollars to the Saudis in January 2022, you would think that they would invest that money to expand their operation, to make it better, to like make it easier for the kids that are coming to play this video game and not have to pay against fucking cheaters, smurfers, and all these like dogs and scum that are playing this game and making it difficult for all people that are trying to enjoy themselves, including myself. They just did the opposite. Instead of improving it, they made it worse. So whoever, like this is my message to every person that is paying premium, stop paying it and just go play.
Boycott. Join the resistance. Okay.
Even though I'm the one who paid for premium for a fucking year.
Okay.
This is
it's a bold take. Certainly a bold take.
This is just a take that's just so ingrained with your own experience.
He's basically the version of that guy I was talking about. He just got mad triggered by FACEIT.
And turn off fucking.
My whole take is it shouldn't exist. Exactly. It should not exist. Get rid of it.
It's low-key hard to even contribute to this one because, okay, I play FACEIT for the ESEA League almost exclusively. My friends and I actually play Premier more regularly, and then we do experience more cheaters because of that, but whatever, we just suck it up, honestly. And then, which isn't a way that any game should be run, by the way. We just have gotten kind of desensitized by it.
Of course,
so FACEIT does actually have a pretty express and pretty clear upgrade in terms of the anti-cheat. I mean, I do interface with it with ESEA regularly. I'm playing in ESEA main for the, I don't know, third season in a row. Just, again, my friends and I just kind of hop on it and we play. But I truthfully, I kind of wish ESEA was separate from FACEIT. I feel like a lot of the functionality of the website was really, really great. I don't really know if I can say that FACEIT should not exist. Like, I think that's way too far. I think it's a great tool for up-and-comers to be spotted. I feel like the ROP story is the one that's most pertinent to Tier 1 CS today, but there's been other examples of players who have just proven themselves all the way through the FPL circuit and then gotten noticed. I don't think... I wish, actually, that we had more of a team structure where everybody should go through... Almost everybody should go through the league system, upgrade through open, main, intermediate, premier, whatever, like all these levels, so that we know that they're good team players. Because I think that, in a funny way, actually, this is not anything that Kassad mentioned, but because we have so many players that are coming up through the FACEIT ecosystem as opposed to the league system, what we're getting is a lot of incredibly skilled players, but they're so raw in terms of how they play the game, playing for themselves instead of for the team, just going for their own individual KPR, KD, and trying to win the game through brute force as opposed to actually trying to play off of teammates. There's players that come up in FACEIT solo queue that are more supportive, they want to call and stuff like that, but honestly, what I'm saying to them is most of the time is just get on a team. Like, just try to play on a team. The FACEIT grind is not the way to find the most satisfaction with that, because you've got 4 new teammates every single time. So for a very different reason, I draw ire to the way that the system is working right now. But I don't run into cheaters actually on FACEIT North America at all. I do in Premier regularly, so I think there is a very strong reason to keep FACEIT.
The problem is, I haven't obviously played FACEIT for a while, because since CS2 came out, my PC's not that good. Don't worry, I'm actually going to upgrade it soon. I think I'll do it next month, so I can do demo reviews and all that jazz that I probably should have done years ago. But to be fair, I wasn't focused on streaming, right? I actually still to this day, and always have paid for FACEIT, I just let that payment just keep renewing every single month, because if I ever do choose to play, that is where I would play, and assuming I don't have like an actual 5-stack of people I could play the matchmaking with, right? I haven't played at the level kassad has, so I have no idea what it's like there, but I always found actually lower level FACEIT seemed way better than matchmaking, mate. Like, matchmaking you do just run into like random people literally spin botting, or who like the joke is you're in a random low level matchmaking game and the guy like clears every corner with a perfect Ferrari peak, like fucking Nico or something, and you're like, who is this random person with 78 ping, you know what I mean? So first of all, for me, I've always found it way better than actual matchmaking. I also feel like it's way more likely people will communicate in English if I press the comms button. If I play on matchmaking, I just mute everyone, including my own team, and just play high as shit, just doing whatever I want and greedy as fuck. So, and I don't play matchmaking anyway. Then there's the whole thing that like kassad has picked probably the worst like cultural timing to lead a resistance against FACEIT, because everyone right now is cheering FACEIT on for the whole no cries thing, aren't they? kassad, they all think like that's how they proved he didn't cheat, and that's like the way they're like the people's hero or whatever, you know. They've shown that he's for real. Now we can all go on. By the way, Maui, it turns out a detail I didn't even know about that no cries thing that also was mad suspicious. You know, he was supposedly doing some of that on like 120 ping or something mental. I think someone said something mad like that.
When it's that when he was playing in Russia and got to 2.9k elo, he was on
even that's nuts
ping.
though. 120 ping, 120
is,
ping is fucking appalling, bro. Like, especially if you try and like be a sick rifler and insta headshot people when you go around a corner. Yeah. That's fucking bonkers. So anyway, that's by the by.
It is.
That's by the by. So the point is, I don't really agree with this take. I think it's one where, look, I get why kassad's passionate about it. Look, if I had experienced loads of cheaters, I would also play it. But I'll also say, and I will ask kassad about this, I will say one of the reasons why I've never really thought there was loads of cheaters on FACEIT at the lower level is because I've noticed two things. One, it just gets way harder at like 2 a.m. My joke back in the day was, even people like NBK used to agree with this, that's when all the vampires come out, the people who have no job and are probably literally on unemployment benefits, and they just play like till 5 a.m. as a 4-stack, and they all just play a billion hours of CS. So as weird as it sounds, that guy is actually enough of a no-lifer. He might actually be able to do this shit against me. Like, his whole life is essentially just having wins in FACEIT. So I've got to say, anytime I met anyone who was too good in FACEIT, I think in my brain I just thought, well, maybe they're just a no-lifer. Maybe I didn't check their profile, you know, maybe I thought they're just serious players. So I don't really tend to cheat accuse in FACEIT. When you say there's cheaters, they're not just like questionable. You feel like it's blatant, or it's certain that the person cheats.
Blatant cheaters like aim assist.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, no recoil, like all these like significant cheats that have improved over the years. We spoke about the no cries thing. And to add to that point, like for me, that what FACEIT did with this no cries thing is like absolutely fucking disgraceful. So I'm going to openly...
There's another good take. By the way, as usual, Maui, he's got a better hot take. His hot take is, FACEIT doing this thing with no cries is disgraceful. Title of the video.
I'm going to openly
disgraceful. Go on, hit me with it.
I'm going to openly invite No Cries to come to Belgrade.
I feel like already he's not going to... If he watches this episode, he's not going to take you up on it. But go on, explain why.
It's fine. Come to Belgrade, come to Relog. I'll cover every cost that you have. I will. If you want to play from my house, really, I have optic fiber here. I have the perfect PC.
Let me ask you a question.
Just go play and prove everyone wrong.
If he plays and online, you can watch him and you can see the PC and you see his dope. You'll tell everyone he's amazing, yeah?
I will tell everyone that he is legit player. Absolutely, I will sit right here. There is a couch there. Okay. I will sit right here and watch him play. If he wants to play from Relog, I'll secure that too. Okay. If he wants to play from a hotel room, I'll secure that too. Okay. The thing is, like, why am I doing this? Not because I want to prove No Cry is a cheater, because I don't know. I don't fucking know. Okay. I wanna go do this in spite of FACEIT, because what they did and what people missed. And what nobody is talking about, because like you said, they're just saying like they're people's heroes. You see, they proved. They got the guy to their headquarters and didn't allow anybody else to be there except for their employees. And they're like, yes, we proved. You see, we proved he's not cheating. Okay. As opposed to what? That he was cheating and your platform didn't detect it before he got 4.5k elo?
Well, I love Maui is he's doing that genius move. That's my favorite, like double down that conspiracy people do. Like here's the joke, right? What you do is, I'll give you a joke. If you have a conspiracy that, like, you know, the Vatican runs the whole world or whatever, you know, blah, 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 then say, you know, here's the joke, Maui. The conspiracy guy would go, say Jesus himself came down to earth and said, my son it's not being run by the Vatican. That's not a real conspiracy. The conspiracy guys turn to his mate and goes, "Oh my God, you don't know how far this goes." Because to him, that's like, he's done the same thing. He's like, FACEIT's in on the conspiracy that he cheats now, Maui. They're like covering the fact he does with like, they're in a room, no one else could see in there. And obviously, like, they don't want to expose their platform as cheaters. That's true in a way, but it's a bad take, as usual.
But that's like me being crazy, right? Bad shit crazy. Okay. And the doctors come in as like to diagnose me if I'm crazy, so I can be right around like, normal people or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And the doctor is my mother. And she's like, "Oh yeah, no, okay. I didn't raise a crazy person. Okay, this person is completely sane, and I just go around shitting my pants in the middle of the street." Like, it just makes no sense that they would do that. Like, just give it to the third party person to decide if he's legit or not. Okay. I can be that guy. Relo can be that guy. I don't have to be there. Okay. I can put somebody there, and just go and play and prove everybody else. It's not, again, this is not about no cries. Okay. Like, I don't care if he's cheating or not. I don't give a fuck. Sure. It's about FACEIT. And just to point out before we move to the next topic is like, they can stay, in a sense, what I was complaining about. You were asking people to give you money for premium subscription and you're providing shit service. That is my biggest problem with them. Like, if I'm going to give you monthly, you are giving the monthly money to them. Bunch other kids are giving monthly money to them, and they're getting banned for no reason. They're experiencing toxicity, racism, all kind of shit, cheating, smurfing, and then at the end of the month, they're just, here is my $5. $750 million from fucking Saudis for what? For this? Fuck you.
Anyway, listen, that's certainly a take. But you know what else is a take? That I think one of our best sponsors ever is Manta Sleep. See the wonderful Manta Sleep mask? Now, what's great is I'm going to explain to you guys why a Manta Sleep mask, the main benefits of it, are like you guys, so you can relate, but good in a way that you guys are bad. So one of the factors of the eye cups is when you put them on, it's 100% blackout for light. Just like you guys are blind to the eye test and being able to even see what happens in the game. But this is a good thing this time. Also, you can adjust the eye cups. You can move it around. Actually, that's one of the only things you guys going for you is you can watch a demo like a dog watching a card trick. You can move your eyes around on the screen and see colours, but you don't get anything from it. You would get a wonderful night's sleep that could help restore you and give you a bit of extra fuel in your brain to make you less irritable and make great takes. Then finally, obviously this material, the best thing about it is it can breathe. Some would say the best thing about you guys is you can breathe. Because you can breathe, you can then watch this show, listen to us, buy wonderful products like Manta Sleep masks, get great sleep, and improve the quality of your takes that you then submit to the Last Free Nation Discord. So how do you get money off, you ask? Well, it's easy. You get 10% off using the code HOTTAKE, all one word, at Manta Sleep. So go there, get a wonderful sleep mask. It's really good. 10% is an excellent one. Also, by the way, this is another one of those products I never tried. I actually never would have thought to try, but I would say now, even if I wasn't sponsored, like, put it this way, I might actually buy one of these as a gift for someone. It's also super lightweight as well. So you can even put it in your pocket, everything. I just think it's actually one of the, along with that, like, Aura Frame from a while back, it's one of those just like slam dunk products to me. It's just, I don't know what the downside is. I think it's just a bagger. Do you guys enjoy yours?
Yeah, it's seriously,
he plays Counter-Strike. Right
there you go. Okay, there you go.
The thing is, like,
that is how he calls for Astralis. Okay. That is how he calls, actually.
My wife took mine, so I had to like message her while you were talking to bring it up to show you guys. But the thing is, like, she also took the earplugs that you get with in the package. So I guess, I mean, I don't know, but she's like,
I can't imagine that, Kassad. Your wife might want to not be able to see you, not be able to hear you, and get a good night's sleep. It's a crazy idea. And also, she does have a kid, to be fair, so you want to block it out a bit.
The thing is, like, it's pretty good. I like it. So she took mine. I don't have one, so if the guys can just send me one more, it would be great.
Yeah, there you go. An appeal to the sponsor for more free merch. We'll see if we can hook that up. Right, okay. Boys, I actually want to come in hot with a take on my own before Maui this time. Normally I wait till the end and sort of draft it behind you guys and then try and snipe the first place. I'm going to come in. You know what? Only Thorin can do this. You know that whole, like, Fallen's the most overrated player ever? Get ready for one that's going to hurt everyone's feelings, because you know who it's about. Certain Norwegian player that we all love, Rain, legendary player. Ooh. Here's the take you're all going to hate. Simple's going to hate it. Nico's going to hate it. FaZe are going to hate it. Rain's going to hate it. Get ready. Everyone right now is doing this thing with Rain that they never did with people like Snacks. They never did with some of the other legendary players that got removed, which is they're almost making it sound like FaZe, had no choice but to do this. Like, he couldn't have stayed in. So what they're doing is this whole thing like, nah, he's out of that team, but hey, he could join bloody any other team, couldn't he? He'd make any other team good. I want you all to pull up the HLTV top X whatever at the moment, like the rankings at the moment on HLTV, right? FaZe Clan is currently ranked 14th on there. Now, obviously, about half the teams are going to be teams he couldn't join anyway. He can't speak Chinese, he can't speak Russian, there's certain teams he can't be a part of, right? I understand that. But if you look at the other teams, there's probably going to be 7 or 8 of them. There's not another team in the top 15. I actually think it would be appropriate for him to join. Now, here's why. Because first of all, one of the selling points of Rain in the latter day of FaZe Clan that Carrigan talked about as a selling point was the idea that Rain doesn't need to be IGL'd. He just does his shit and everyone kind of knows what Rain does and he has good instincts. And so Carrigan gets to, if he wants to micro people, micro a certain player, play with the rest of the squad, tell people where to go push, and then Rain just does kind of like his thing and he makes it work because he's kind of in that sense, he's filling the holes or he's finding his own little route and path. So first of all, there are so many teams that are super tactical. I don't even think it'd be appropriate for him to play in. You are aware, guys, technically he's never played tactical Counter-Strike in his pro career. He was in G2 and FaZe his whole career. He was in the international super teams where you're all geniuses. It's like Real Madrid. You just make it work. Ancelotti's your coach. You don't have like a tiki-taki and then you go here and you pull back now, build up the play. Like, you're not doing any of that. He's never done that. As far as I know, he's never done that in his whole career. Even when he was in Norway, he was just the best player on like a team of like the 4 other Norwegian players that could play CS and plug in their mouse. Like, I actually can't think, like, I wouldn't put him with Shuhei. I think Shuhei wants to call like certain fucking things in the game. I don't know. Could he go, again, look at all the teams boys. I'm not saying skill-wise he couldn't replace any player, but I don't know which player role for role it would make sense to replace him with. Also, I'll add this in. One of the overlaps he had with Elige in FaZe is really worrying if you want to add him to a team. So what is let's see, Maui, if you can just guess, I'm not saying everyone thinks this, but if you can guess what I'm thinking, what CT spot on a map am I thinking of most famously with Rain? What would you guess?
Outside yard noob.
Of course. He basically won an MVP at a major while being the player who like fragged Electronic's head off at that spot. And it was godlike. But do you know what the obvious problem is? As Elise showed you, that's the spot star players take, boys. That's not the play you don't get to be the 29-year-old whatever, I'm all right sort of still guy and I'm a legend. You don't get that spot if you join any of these teams, mate. I'm sorry you don't. And then lastly, I'm not saying this to be harsh, but actually family does count against you in this sense. I have no idea if it ever does cause a restriction for him, but unfortunately, if a team's picking between you and an 18-year-old shit-hot kid who has no family and nothing whatsoever, nothing in his life except CS, that automatically gives them a little edge up, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that it has to be an issue for you now, but that will make people decide against you. So I think it's an interesting angle. Essentially, the hot take sounds a lot more hot as usually than it probably is, but I don't think there's any top 15 team that makes sense to take him. So when you all say, I hope he keeps playing CS, he said he's going to keep playing. That's why, in my opinion, he's quickly, in that initial statement, implied he'll be IGL. Because I think he knows he can't just be Rain anymore, bro. Maybe he has to go. By the way, I actually don't hate the idea of him as an IGL. That's an interesting pivot. But even then, just like coaches and IGLs, it's dangerous to give that to a top 10 team and just pop someone in there who's never done it. So I'm trying to think and rack my brain, because the problem is, look, I think he could play CS, but I don't think anyone, including Rain, wants to hear, what team do you want, Mick? NIP, Fnatic, I can get you an OG. And he doesn't want, bro, I don't think Rain wants those teams. You know what I mean? So let me know. Am I wrong? Do you guys see a spot I'm not seeing? What do you think?
I don't see a top 15. Yeah, no, I don't see a top 15 team that Rain could be on. I mean, I don't, again, I think I'm probably the worst podcaster maybe in the entire space when it comes to Rain's departure from FaZe, because I am just the least sentimental about it, because I've wanted him kicked for a year and a half.
Sure.
Like I get it. I get he's legendary. You know, if someone like, I don't know, when certain people are on the outs of their
bro, classic like ones, example, Forrest, Olaf, we all love these guys, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love the legacy. I love the history, the peaks. All of these really made CS as fun and interesting. And even when Rain was on the downturn, I was calling for him to be benched, and then yet they still were able to make some really impressive runs. I mean, the Shanghai Major Grand Final where Donk's able to win wouldn't have been the same if Rain wasn't against him in the server. He was a great adversary in that moment, but I think Rain also on the HLTV confirmed interview kind of said some things that made me feel like, why would I want this guy on my team?
Because like, what do you mean? What gist?
He sort of was like along the lines of like he doesn't like all the papers that are on the table.
See what I mean,
like,
bro? That's playing into my point, right? He doesn't want some blame shit.
Yeah, no, yeah, I didn't, and I hear that, and I'm like, see, that's not as cool as you think it sounds.
Oh, because he thinks he sounds like he's OG, like, you know, just pass me the ball, let's play some hoops, boys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, truthfully, like, I think the way I would relate it is for analysts that are broadcast analysts in this space. If a broadcast analyst says to me, I just kind of walk up and just say whatever I'm thinking, I'm like, what? Like, that's not that. No wonder what you're saying doesn't mean anything.
True.
Like, no wonder it's just pure.
I know what you mean. That to
like,
them, that sounds fire mouth. It's like, I don't even fucking need to study. But to us, it's just like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Then why are you here? Like, then what are you? What a value are you going to bring to this conversation? And you know, so I'm pretty. I don't know when I hear people say these things about like, oh, I don't practice, I don't study. It's like, guys, everybody's leveled up. Like all the people that have all of the natural, the people, you know, the natural talent, it's actually not enough anymore. Like we have leveled up as an industry. That was okay. No joke. That was okay 5+ years ago. 5+ years ago, I think the online era really just separated the hard workers from those that are only naturally talented. I don't think there's really anybody in the space anymore that I'm just saying, yep, that dude's just naturally very talented. Like everybody that's playing, like Donk, you know, #1 player in the world, just like Simple, is spamming pugs every day. He's playing like 7 games a day, working with Holly, working with Chopper. You know, you think about like ZywOo is probably kind of on the closer end to the most naturally gifted, but he still plays so much. He he doesn't deathmatch that much, but it's like he doesn't need to deathmatch when he's playing 7 scrims a day and playing a few pugs in a day, and then he's also probably going over some stuff with Xtaz and Apex. Like Apex sometimes has to call ZywOo out. He's done that in some of the comms videos because he messes something up. Like they're not flawless, and I don't want a guy that's just gonna up and just act like I'm a natural anymore. Like I think the last great natural that kind of faced a similar fate to Rain was Forrest. I mean, Forrest kind of had that sort of aura around him that he can just show up. He's so naturally gifted. He's like his hand-eye coordination is just it is just 3 levels above the average gamer. So that's going to always carry you very, very far. But if you're not studying, if you're not learning the ins and outs of the utility that's thrown against you, all of these things are holding you back from being the elite, the super elite player that's grinding. And it's not a coincidence that Elige was their highest rated player for all of this time when the dude is just, he's just grinding demos. He's grinding refrag. He's grinding all of these tools in order to be the best player ever.
Everything, everything.
Yeah, and Elige is probably one of the first to, even though Elige has been good for so long and probably is naturally talented in a way similar to Rain, he is put in every single resource. He's just extracting all of the maximum value from those resources to be super elite. Like Elige is still one of the highest rated T-side players in the world and he's been playing the game for 10 years. Okay, I want that guy versus the guy that's just like, yeah, I don't like the papers.
I mean, I think the only one argument makes perfect sense here, and it's what Duncan said at the very beginning when he was explaining it. Is like, on one side you have 31-year-old Rain with a couple of kids, wife, past his prime, 2 years maybe at best to play Counter-Strike on any level, rather like the highest level, against the 18, 17-year-old kid with 0 commitments to anything else besides CS, who's going to play 14 hours. On one side, you have Rain, who's going to be asking for $25K a month because of his brand, social following, and whatever.
Also lives in fucking Norway. It's really expensive taxes there, boys. Yeah.
Against the CIS kid or whoever kid who's going to be asking $3K in the first year. You know, where is my money going to go? I'm going to go with the $3K a month for a kid, right? Like, it's simple, and there is no team that will even, like, no sane team that will even try to suggest getting. I think you were too generous when you said top 15. I would even say top 25. Like, why would NIP get Rain? They're 23rd. Like no reason. Like he's not gonna do better than any of them. Fnatic should shut down anyway. OG is a team that doesn't buy players older than 23, 24. That's very well known philosophy of there, and that's what people confirm to me as well. Even their ex-players. Heroic Gamer Legion can replace somebody there, yeah, but why? But you get like a cheaper player that can deliver you more. Why just not go coach? If you want to be involved, if you want to be the IGL, if you want to use your brain in that sense, use it as that. It's going to leave you a lot of time, at home, maybe a lot less stress, than when you are playing. Not that much pressure to frag. You can use your experience and knowledge that you think you have. And you are a calm guy, you are a friendly guy, you are good with people, you have the good background. Why not try that? Why try to ridicule I don't like the fucking papers? Who the fuck are you?
By the way, you will need those papers if you're going to be IGL, though. That's the problem as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, guys, trust me.
2015.
Flying
it's
V.
2015 when you're playing against bots.
I know. Yeah.
These new kids are fucking insane.
Yes.
They're grinding 14 hours a day, matchmaking fucking.
They're so good they make kassad think that FACEIT is full of cheaters.
Exactly.
It's crazy. And then you come, I don't need that. I'll just have my 4.
No, the joke is, according to kassad, he couldn't even join a level 11 FACEIT team. They're all better than him.
Yeah.
They can all see through walls, aim assist,
Yes.
He's just the 31-year-old boomer, can't do shit.
The truth is, he should give up that fantasy of joining another top team or a top-ish team, and just, if you want to stay connected to the CS, stay in another way and contribute to another way. You have a legacy that you have to protect and not fuck it up the same way Taz and Neo fucked it up, especially Taz. When that Honoris project and all this shit.
Oh, yeah, that
and
one, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Instead of immediately switching and creating a brand out of Taz, he went to play with potatoes and just now he's a completely different person. It's just another story. But The point is, no top 25 team should even try to consider Rain for anything else than a analyst or a coach.
Because actually, I do think you have to give me credit. The one angle I came up with there, I don't think anyone has thought of, is the fact he was just in FaZe Clan his entire career. Mate, every other player in history has been in, different IGLs, different style, tactic. FaZe Clan was never that ever. If you don't know, before Carrigan, they basically didn't have a real IGL. They just sort of fucking did whatever. It was just 5 fraggers. And then even with Carrigan, he's probably the fucking loosest IGL of all time, isn't he? Because his whole shit's do what you want initially, then I'll make a call. There's no call from spawn. Pretty soon, that's why he couldn't join NIP. Why he can't do some snappy, conditioning rushes, tactics from spawn. Again, what are you going to do? I don't see who can join. Okay, right, Maui.
Actual question, just for the sake of history.
Yeah.
Who was the IGL at the beginning of FaZe?
Well, technically,
the Kiyoshima, AZ, Jacob, Fox, Rain.
That was even slightly later. The first one ever was the one with Makalele and Scream and fucking Rain, and it might even have been Rain, bro. It might even have been him temporarily calling when it was Kingwin or whatever the fuck. It might even have been him, bro. Because I know when they had Dennis, he didn't actually want to be an IGL. I think people said maybe he did it a little bit, but again, I think he did it very loosely. I think again, when you have players like that, remember they were also the first team to speak English when none of them were English native speakers. So as far as I know, they weren't calling you can't imagine Scream, who didn't have English at the best of times, mate, mixed with Fox, who's just Geota, Portuguese, mixed with fucking, you know what I mean? It doesn't work, does it?
Yeah.
I mean, mixed with Nakalele, the Mayans didn't make the spaceships come down to the pyramids or whatever the fuck it. They just were fragging, bruh. They be fragging. Exactly, they just be fragging, bruh. You know what I mean? They're waiting for the fucking the 12th planet to come round again. You know what I mean? That's all I know. Anyway, Maui, do you have a take?
Yeah, my take. Okay, so I wanted to switch things up a bit also, because usually when we make takes on this show, oftentimes it's just something that, in the next 4 years of Nico's career, this might happen. It's like, how are we supposed to confirm or deny this?
Actually, by the way, we should really play into that. I should have a take in 17 years, Zemo wasn't even top 10 all time. Some mental take that can never be tested or proven. I know.
Yeah, but I also wanted to make sure that it was hot enough that this isn't just some softball kind of take or some sort of prediction. So I just wanted to make a short-term prediction, and we'll see how it unfolds.
All right.
looking at ESL Pro League, given that this is going to release, this is being recorded between stage 1 and stage 2. So on the off day, I wanted to pick a team to win this tournament. So I went through the field. I thought to myself, okay, like I think the easy pick is Vitality, but you know, something about Spirit and the way they're moving right now. I think Spirit's going to take EPL. Well, it's them versus the field. It's them versus the field.
Okay.
Them versus the field.
I see what you mean. Here's what I got wrong. Spirit being a favourite isn't a hot take, but the idea that you haven't seen them play a single match yet, it's the beginning of the Swiss. That's true. We don't know how they'll do. Yeah, okay. That's not as bad.
Exactly.
That's not bad. Okay.
Exactly. I think that Spirit has a great. I'll just say the hot take is Spirit are going to win ESL Pro League. They're my pick for sure to win it right now. I think the honeymoon aspect of the vlog of them just looking happy, like the way that Tanir is integrating socially with the team is already good.
They're all bonding over clowning on Overdrive. Love that already. It's like belly slapping, and that's amazing already.
Yeah,
amazing.
more of that. We want
amazing
more of that.
shit. I know. By the way, everyone said, Maui, you might be onto something. Everyone always said Spirit had no aura. Bro, that looked fire when they were all fucking laughing and fucking
they looked
joking.
fun.
Yeah, that looked sick.
It looks fun. It's a complete 180 from super serious Zontics, just trying to, be as stoic as possible versus Tanir, who's just aura farming. He's
just like a male model or something. It's mad in it.
He's just serving looks. He's just constantly serving. Tanir, on the other hand, he's down for a good time. He's down to clown, and I think he's great. I honestly just think he's so great. I think Tanir was such a standout on the heroic rosters. T-sides, he is such a difference maker. Like, they've been looking in my eyes, Spirit has been looking for a guy that can also be an opener or just find something on their side of the map. And even though Tanir was a little bit more lurky on the on heroic, he wasn't always the space taker. It was like X-Cloud for a lot of their games. Anytime Tanir was on his side of the map, I thought, he's winning. First of all, he's winning this default if they push him, and second of all, he can just push and just get a kill 60% of the time also. Like, he was such a stud on those kinds of positions. So even though I know and appreciate what Zontix was on the CT side, I think this gives Spirit a new dimension, and one that I think teams are actually going to really have to think about, wait, if we push Tanir, we might just die, but we need to take space somewhere, because if we just fight Donk in the middle, we're going to just lose that fight. And I think this just gives Spirit that second weapon that they've been so desperately looking for, because Shiro's still, in my eyes, their second best player, but I'd say Tanir is going to be their second most important T-side player. He's so vital for controlling whatever's happening on his side of the map, and I just think the vibes have looked insane too. So it's a vibes plus position base plus kind of eye test analysis all wrapped into one, buried in a hot take that's just simply Spirit are winning Pro League.
Where you going, Kassad?
Well, I think it's just shit take. But
as usual.
No, the thing is, like, it's like you said, like, it's Spirit against the field. It's like saying LeBron James is going to play basketball against the field, and the field is like Paralympic guys, like in fucking wheelchairs.
But they're not that. This is Pro League.
Teams
top 9 teams are there.
But that might be the most out of pocket analogy he's given so far.
It's crazy, right?
I can't understand that at all.
Why did he make it Kanye against the wheelchair people, or whatever that story is?
LeBron dunking on wheelchair people is ridiculous.
That's what it is. Now they say, like, that's going to happen. But if you said something like, listen, Spirit, based on what I saw, blah, 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 whatever, and they're going to win the Pro League without losing more than 2 maps. They're going to lose.
It's already against the field. Like,
that would make it a hot take. Them winning Pro League is not a hot take. Like, they're probably going to make the semis or the finals.
Okay, here's the hot take. Here's the hot take.
Make it hot.
Here's the hot take that's more on brand with things that I care about. They're going to have a top 2 T-side win percentage at the event. Top 2. And everybody's calling for Chopper and the lack of tactics and everything like that. It might still not be Chopper that's actually making this whole thing function, but I think Tanir is going to be such a boost on that side.
Okay, so let me understand. It's going to be the winners of Pro League, number 1. Yep. They're going to have top 2 T-side win round percentage.
Yep.
Right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yep. I can live with that.
That's
somehow. It's still not enough. But I can live. I'll take it. I'll make a compromise. Because you say, like, Spirit, even if you said, like, Vitality, you can say the same thing with Vitality, and would it be hot take?
Like, I don't think it would.
I don't think saying Vitality's going to win Pro League is not.
To be fair, Kassad,
I was literally considering it, but no, I didn't.
The problem is we've never ever seen this Spirit team play, though, have we? Whereas actually, on the other hand, if you saw how the teams rated everyone, all the teams, by the way, rated Vitality number 1. That means in scrims they don't think that they're just shit, you know. So I don't hate it as a take. Are you done?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I would just say I don't have too much to add on this. The problem with this one is, I actually like that you made him add some extra conditions, because otherwise I don't think it's as hot a take as Maui thinks. Like, put it this way, low key, I think I would actually take them as, if you just ask me straight up who will win Pro League, I'd take Spirit, because I could see a world where you get the honeymoon phase with Tenay, you just hit the ground running. You already have a god-like T-side player anyway. Bro, people like Shiro are not going to mind at all some space being taken up. Like, it's way, if anything, is going to get some of the pressure lifted off his shoulders. And yeah, as you say, for Chopper, bro, he's got like 2 of the best T-side players. Like, he should just be hogging heaven, just going wild. So I could see them just murking this tournament right out the gate. It's like, I haven't seen them play, so for all I know, it could go shit. But I could also think about all these teams, like the G2 team. That was a little honeymoon period right there. So I could see this team going fucking crazy. So problem I have is I would already have them as a top 2 or 3 team to win this tournament anyway. So, and at the moment, a different team wins any fucking tournament. So who even knows? I will say, the part that makes it slightly hot is if it is your first tournament, you're going to have to win the BO5 final. Win the BO5's hard with a brand new lineup. You know, if you go all 5 maps, you might be playing some shit you barely practiced. Like, that could be hard. You can get onto, I don't know, an overpass or a train or something when you're not really in the mood for it. So here's the problem. Maui either only has 2 types of hot takes, like slightly reheated, not that hot takes, or blistering hot takes that are completely out of this world. So that was more the former than the latter, put out there, you know. It wasn't on the level of remove all friendly fire or just shut the no one is allowed to play FACEIT anymore.
I'm reading more again. I'll come up with a better take soon. Okay. The synapses are firing again. So I'm working towards it.
Does anyone have another hot take, or do you want to do another fan one?
Well, another fan one.
Yeah,
we can do another fan one. Yeah.
Right, here's a good one for you. This is mental, but I like it. It's good. Penthos says, Blade is holding Aleksib back. Alternate title, Blade is ruining esports history. Blade's predilections, I can't believe he's using words like predilections and coming up with takes like this. Blade's predilections have kept stars out of Na'Vi. If it's at all true that Elige could have joined, I think Aleksib has the high rigor to his game that Elige would thrive in. And I blame Blade for this not happening. His past experience with Simple seems to have been a major factor in stopping him from returning to the team, and Aleksib only got a few tournaments with him and seemed to love playing with him. It appears Na'Vi has money to spend, and I think Blade is the main factor as to why this team is not making bigger signings. Now, I even hear people in the scene starting to say Aleksib is on the chopping block, while Blade is seemingly the architect of this lineup. I think both are amazing top-tier talent, but I don't think the pair works together anymore. P.S. A related issue would be the lack of capability to get Russian players, but that's not as sexy of a take and not totally in Blade's control. I think the sanity at the end. Okay, I want to know where people are on this take. It's an interesting take. He's reached for it on this one. Where are we going on this one? What do you think, boys? Blade's holding Aleksib back and Na'Vi by not signing players and giving him more stars and shit like that.
I think that you can go back. I mean, I have my.
How could he be holding him back when he's reached the highest highs with this guy? I mean, maybe today it's not playing it. I was considering a take actually that was along the lines of somebody like someone between. Well, mostly I was just thinking maybe Aleksib needs to be considered in this in what needs to happen next for Na'Vi in terms of removal.
Okay.
But I couldn't actually bring myself to make the take. I couldn't bring myself to make the take because I just don't believe it. So I can't just say something that's too. There's some things that I don't believe, but they're funny, like air quality.
Sure.
But or maybe I do. No, I do believe that. I do believe that one. But other takes that are just for the sake of making them a little bit. But that one was just like, I think that they really struck gold with what they had when they won their major, and even what happened successively after it. So I can't just toss that. I can't, and I would never say Blade's holding him back either. I just can't really fathom that being the case. No, I just don't really. I can't mess with the take because it just doesn't really align with how I perceive Navi and their flaws right now. I just don't think Navi has good enough players right now. I think for their CT sides, it's just like everybody else, and that was always going to bite them at the end of everything. Like what's holding them back probably is actually a hotter take is what's held Navi back the most is their unwillingness to sign Russian players. That to me is probably really hurt them more than anything.
I mean, signing Russian players is just not. Yeah,
no. Here's the thing. Obviously, politically, I agree. But if you take that out of it, it is true. Like they could tomorrow and any time in the last few years have had a bunch of star players. Yeah, it's true. They just choose. Unfortunately, for obvious reasons, we all understand they choose not to. But it's true. That is a massive factor. Back in the day, Navi used to have their pick of everyone from that region, mate.
Yeah, it's not like they are kind of. Blade doesn't want to hire Russian players. It's the policy of the org because of the political and actual war between the two countries. It's just logical they're not hiring each other. It's just normal at this point, right? Even though the war is not normal, but that consequences of the war is.
By the way, one other reason you might not be able to do it isn't even just PR. It's that if the player currently is on a Russian org, it might not even be legal to buy the player out, mate. That might be considered like contributing to the Russian economy or something weird.
Exactly.
That gets you in trouble.
You can end up in jail.
Who knows?
God knows who would come for you. These things are not a joke, at all. But the bottom line is like I like these guys. How could I say it? Like maybe he has an opinion. Let's say it like that. He's not an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot.
Okay, well, okay.
He has an opinion, right? And that's what we kind of want when people submitting these takes. Even when you're wrong, whatever. He has an idea that he has his reasoning. I think why Navi, maybe he's a fan of Navi. His reasoning for Navi not making it is Blade, whatever, right? That's fair thing to kind of think, even though he's wrong. He's completely wrong. First of all, questioning Blade right now is like questioning the same people who were questioning Blade are the ones who are questioning Carlo Ancelotti, right? And that his methods and the guy won everything. The guy won a major with simple and without simple, with stars and without stars, with new players like Ime and whatever, and without them. And he brought players from the academy. He brought players that are up and coming. Gave the in-game leading opportunity to Bumic when he was. 2021. The Bit was there. The Perfecto was there. He created all these players. The guy who basically found players like Exile, Electronic, more of them, right? And just to question like his, or actually to call that the failure of Navi is because of him is just crazy. The one thing that I maybe do agree with the guy is at the end that he said like maybe their time together like Aleksib and Blade has run out. That's fine. That happens. That might even be true. But the reason I don't think this lineup will stay together, I don't think as much as Blade isn't blind at all. He realizes that Wonderful is not even a shadow of himself. He's even worse than that. He realized that Ime is not a good player anymore. He also realizes that maybe there is traction between him and Aleksib. He sees those things. He's in the game for more than 10 years as a coach. So I don't think that like he's immune to all of that and blind to all of that. Maybe it's the org that like it's blocking the transfers or wants something else. The org just sold Simple to reportedly $500,000, right? Maybe they want to wait for the end of the season to see how they want to develop. This season has been the average, below average. The competition is very high. They will reinvest. I am not doubting that at all. I think they're going to bring somebody new. And we can trash talk Navi about this year as all we want because they deserve that. But we are talking about the team that was the best last year, the team that, the coach that won a couple of majors as well, unlike, and proved that he can do it without stars and superstars, unlike some others, and then just he has so much credit to spend before we question his capabilities in the game.
Yes. Put it this way.
That's why I don't agree.
Within the last 5 years, Blade has essentially had the team of the year twice. One was like a CIS like super squad, and then one was this crazy mix international squad that no one even thought would be this good. So already, by the way, if you can do that in 2 of the last 5 years, you get more time. And your system, no matter what it looks like from the outside, you get the chance to do it, mate. Blade has actually earned that like extra mobility and sort of like leverage over any other coach in the scene. Other coaches might get like the coach that you have to win now. You have to win in the first 10 games. You have to win a tournament. He doesn't have to have that because he's proven it. In fact, last year's team probably buys him the greatest runway of anyone, bar Sonic, when he joined fucking Falcons, where he was going to get a lot of time and a lot of chances to fail. Because think about it, right? I'll even say it. I thought Wonderful was a good pickup instead of Simple as like a temporary stand-in. I didn't have him winning any tournaments. The idea to win a major and then have like 6 finals in a row and then the team of the year, get the fuck out. No. If you even went back now, I'd sort of go, if you replay it in like the matches again, as in not just the same way it was, I'd probably say it wouldn't happen. I'm amazed it did happen. I think that is not only one of the greatest miracles in Counter-Strike that they were the team of the year. I think it is the most obvious example ever of coach impact being an enormous part of the win. Every other all-time great team, we're sort of like, I'm sure the coach did something here and there, or wow, that coach was in other teams, and he also, it's always some weird circumstance. That one, you can just see the fingerprints everywhere. He took players that were like, everyone says now they were up-and-coming players. Yeah, but they weren't going to be on the number one team. JL was like, yeah, he's not a bad player. Immer's like, yeah, he showed something in the past. Oh, you have fucking Wonderful. Yeah, he's not a bad AWPer when he was on Spirit and Sprout. You go down the fucking lineup. Basically, only Bit, which is also a player he found, is the only one that looked like a top player. Aleksib, everyone else was sick of him. Everyone else said, where's his trophies? Get out the door. By the way, you can do 2 angles for Blade. Here's why he gets unlimited runway. Go to his Instagram now. You know the gimmick is he only posts pictures when he wins trophies. He has like 9 or 10 fucking pictures on his Instagram, boys. When you can do that with all levels of team, you get to be, like you say, you get to write your own check. Then let's look at the players he's signed. I'll go further than that, Kassad. People have to remember where they came from. Bit came from the academy, and at the time they were using him as like a Nivera 6-man online. Online he wasn't even that good, mate. He was average as fuck. So when they got to LAN, suddenly he was incredible. He was like, holy fuck, rookie of the year. Only Blade saw that, bro. I didn't. Everyone else was like, maybe bring Flamey back, maybe get another player. The other two, by the way, in that all-time great 2021 squad, he gets all the credit for. Boomich was some guy on Quantum Bellator Fire, the worst team ever to make top 8 at a major. Nobody rated this fucking guy. Nobody thought he could be an IGL for Simple and Electro. Get the fuck out. Nobody thought that's true. And again, Blade saw something I didn't, because when I watched it, yeah, he's not some genius IGL, but he was the perfect IGL for that team. In fact, he even did weird shit like just running him with Mac 10s so people could farm and trade him. And then lastly, bro, the Perfecto one is crazy. This guy is like some fucking god tier scout. He picked a rando player from Simon Gaming. No one ever said this guy's name. He's not some like bold prediction to watch out for next year. No one ever put this guy's name forward as he should be in Na'Vi. When he joined, the story was they were actually going to sign Flit, who everyone did think was sick, and they ended up with, we got Flit at home, here's Perfecto, and you were like, who the fuck? And remember what Perfecto was? He wasn't some big fragger. He was the guy who played like all the shit roles and made space for you and created like holding for time and uses. Again, you'd have to have you have to know a lot about CS to know that these players can fit in your team, but this isn't just stacking 5 good names. So unfortunately, Blade has been right when we've all been wrong, or when we didn't even know how right he could be. And so he has earned an extra year where he thinks he can take these same players and get them to the top again. I couldn't believe he got them there once, so I don't blame him if he thinks he can do it again. And then you know what, in a weird way, even though I think he should have made 2 player changes, maybe his logic is you do it one at a time, so you integrate the player, you get Makaze working, then after this season you get the next guy in. And lastly, I'll throw one out there that no one's even thought of. Even though Blade constantly counter-signalled in all interviews the idea he would want Simple back in the team again. Remember, he was the one saying play tier 3. He was the one that was like, I'm not sure I really liked playing with him as much as now with this new one. You can't know the org, though, because the value of Simple for marketing and for Na'Vi as the face of Na'Vi, there might even have been a world, mate, where they told him something like, look, mate, if you don't make top 8 at the major, or, if Simple starts playing awesome with FaZe, we might have to bring him in the squad. For all we know, he might even have had his hands tied. He might only be now that he can even make the player changes. So all I think is this. I know what he means. It's not a terrible take, although I will say the idea they can't work together. They work together greater than maybe any IGL coach duo ever in CSGO, like that, like in CS2 history. That was unbelievable. So I would say this. if Blade's one of the few people I'm a mark, mate. I've signed the contract. I've got season tickets forever, bro. I'll never give them up. So I reckon next year, 2026, Blade somehow, whatever squad he has, they'll be right back to the top, mate. I don't know how. I have crazy belief in him, and I agree with you, Kassad. He's not an idiot. He's not going to bang his head against the wall forever and just stick with Immer and fucking wonderful. Eventually, if they really don't work, and he's tried everything with them, he's also quite a harsh guy in his own way. He'll get rid of them, mate. He'll get the next people in.
And I'll just add to your point, everything that you said, and he one-upped all of that by getting in 2024, by getting a player from Gamer Legion, which is Ime, player from Apex, which is JL, player from Sprout, which is wonderful, and he got a bit from Academy team who was already in the team back in 2021. You already mentioned that. And the fifth player, the most important piece, whatever, it was the Aleksib. Where was Aleksib when he picked him up?
Was it an IP?
Somebody tell me that.
Was it actually?
He was in an IP. He was benched. He was benched from G2. Yeah. He was benched there, and then from that he made the best team of 2024.
That's pretty insane, isn't it?
Navi didn't buy players from Liquid, from FaZe, like for example, Vitality bought a player from FaZe, or brought a player from FaZe. Liquid or any other like this. High tier teams or tier 1 organizations, like for example, Falcons bought a half of the team from G2. You know, the Blade didn't do that. Navi didn't do that. So from that, he created the best team in 2024 in just the space of 6 months. That earns him a lot of fucking credit. So.
By the way, I do. The one part I agree with, though, is I do think, for me, if I was Blade, I can't know how he differs to me, and that's it. I would at least have considered the Elysia one, though. I actually think Elysia would like his system. I agree with that point. That's one point I do agree. But whatever. It was still the first season, to be fair. Like, this was back in last year, and we went on to have more success without him, so I can't blame him. He got in every fucking final. I don't know if he'd have done that with Elysia, who knows?
Yeah.